Hey guys, I'm Sai and welcome to A.C.E Podcast Nation. We're here for another exclusive interview from one of the biggest up and coming names in the UK MMA scene. And I'm joined by none other than Jordan, the Epidemic Vucenic. How are you, mate?
I'm all good, mate. How are you?
I'm not too bad at all. Not too bad
Good.
at all. Looking forward to having a little chat and a catch up. Obviously, you've been on done in unscripted, uncensored previously, and you've been on the Danny Batten show, of course,
Yeah.
as one of your coaches. So, obviously, the first place I suppose we should start is your upcoming fight. So, what are you? You're on the Saturday, is it? Or the
Yes, the
Friday?
26th. Is
Saturday.
that?
The
Um,
Saturday. The So you're fighting Steve Amiable, who's
yeah.
he's got quite a big name, well known.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
looking forward to that, mate?
Yes, mate. I'm buzzing for it. I was asking for a big name because I believe I'm ready to compete with all them guys now. So someone that's close to the title or has fought for the title, and yeah, he's the guy I got back. So yeah, looking forward to it. All systems go. Time to
Indeed.
prove time to prove how good I really am. Time to show the level.
Well, that's it, mate. It's a good opponent to make a
Yeah.
statement at the end of the day. I think
Yeah.
when you fight someone who's had a title shot before and is well known on the scene, if you go in and you make a statement, people are going to notice, aren't they?
Yeah.
Outside of the people who already are well aware of you, obviously.
Yeah.
Um,
That's the plan. I see a lot of
so
people posting saying it's too much of a step up too quick, but I've seen someone say that we're not on the same level. But I think they're right, just not in the way they think it. So
mm,
we'll see.
That's
Come
interesting, see, because a little birdie told me, was telling me about some of the people you've been sparring with recently, and I hear it was going quite well. So it's not difficult to work out who that was, but yeah. So training, everything going well.
yes, everything's going bang on. I've had a new strength and conditioning coach come on board. Um, and he's just been pushing me to the limit. Even I used to train hard for fights, obviously, but I think I used to burn myself out a bit too much. He's helped me up the training and then sort of bring it down at the same time and not push myself every single day. That's Adam Hale, and then all my other coaches have just been pushing me to the max. Danny Ray, Giant Lucas, JB, all of them just putting in extra work. So it's feeling solid. I
Yeah,
know
I can't
everybody
wait.
says it, but the best I've ever felt, and I know every fighter says it every different fight, but now, honestly,
Yeah, you seem fresh, mate. You seem well up for it. So I
yeah,
can't wait till this Cage Warriors event.
yeah,
Just 3 days of like so many good fights on every card.
yeah, yeah,
And that's really good to see from a UK MMA scene as well. Just because obviously the UFC has done a fantastic job of putting on some great cards during the madness that's going on in the world at the moment over the last few months. I'd say
yeah,
pretty much every UFC card has been very good to watch. Um, so for Cage Warriors to not just come back with like a one good card, they've come back with 3 days in a row of proper good fights. Um,
yeah.
so, other than your fight, is there any fights off the 3 days which you're really looking forward to having a look at?
I haven't. Yeah, the belt at my weight class. See who wins that. Morgan Charrier and Max Koga. My teammate Tom Mans is fighting on it.
Yeah,
And
they announced
apart
that
from that,
yesterday, didn't they?
a few of the featherweights that are fighting. The Irish guy Paul Hughes and the Scottish lad Aidan Stevens as well. So on my day, there's a few featherweight cards, so it's going to be interesting to see who wins and then who fights who next, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, there's Welsh fighter Ben Ellis, also fighting at featherweight on
Okay.
the 24th. He's got a real good reputation at the moment. They've been called the Welsh Khabib recently. I don't know if you've seen the finish from his last fight, but it is
Yes, I have actually seen that. The one from
brutal.
Side Control. Now you said the thing, it could be. Yeah, yeah. I've seen
Yeah.
that.
So I'm look. Yeah, that's going to be a one I'll be keeping an eye on. Obviously, there's a couple of other guys like Oban Elliott is fighting on the one day. Aaron Khalid, Luke Shanks fighting for the flyweight title as well. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to that.
There's just, I think, was it 50 fights altogether? There's just
Yeah,
50
it's
solid
crazy.
fights. Yeah, crazy.
It's going to be exceptionally fun to talk about, I gotta
Especially
say.
if you're a MMA fan, it's going to be an
unbelievable,
amazing
isn't it?
weekend for you, isn't it? Yeah.
And I can't forget a friend of the channel, Mason Jones, fighting for the vacant welterweight title as well to try and be, I think it's I can't remember now, his second Cage Warriors fighter in history to hold two belts at the same time at two weights. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah. Very.
Also, Ben Ellis is joining us this next week for the Danny Batten show, so have a look
Okay.
out for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you a couple of questions. So we've got some very interesting UFC cards coming over the next couple of months. One which does really stick out is the UFC 254 card, which has got Khabib versus Gaethje, Ferguson versus Poirier, Zabit versus Yair Rodriguez, and Robert Whittaker versus Cannonier.
Yeah.
That's quite the insane card.
Yeah. I've seen a few people post it and say, could this be the best UFC fight card ever? I've seen a few people post that. Which is
Yeah,
a bit,
and it's not even just like a load of big names. It's the matchups as well.
yeah.
Like Khabib and Gaethje is fascinating
Yeah.
because
100%.
Gaethje is just an animal, and obviously Khabib's like 27-0 or 28-0.
Yeah.
And then you've got Ferguson coming off a bit of a beating from Gaethje to face Dustin Poirier. And Zabit versus Yair Rodriguez is one which I'm really looking forward to because they're like two of the most creative
Fighters going,
fighters about. Who do you think is going to win, Khabib versus Gaethje?
I don't know, because you hear a few things. I know it seems Gaethje's got the style to beat Khabib, but then you hear a few things that Gaethje gets really tired when he's forced to wrestle. Obviously, Khabib's going to force him to wrestle, so you just don't know. But then you see his gas tank with Tony, but he didn't have to wrestle with Tony. I don't know. I think maybe Khabib to win by decision, but Gaethje to win maybe 1 or 2 rounds against him. That's what I'm thinking, maybe. But Khabib to just do what he always does, take it down and dominate on the ground pretty much.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because Gaethje is top wrestler, but it's whether, like you say, the gas tank you need with Khabib, I think, is just another level.
And it's MMA, so just
yeah.
the one-on-one wrestling. He might be a really good one-on-one wrestler, but you need to see what happens MMA-wise with the wrestling, don't you? When there's punches, and you know Khabib does that, like stuff, jump in, fly a knee, and then shoots in on your legs. So if you don't defend the flying knee, you're gonna get cracked. If you defend it, you get took down. So yeah, we just need to see what happens. But maybe I think Khabib to win, but Gaethje to win 1 or 2 rounds.
It's going to be interesting nonetheless, and like at the end of the day, it's really hard to call because, like, if Gaethje wins, I wouldn't be like shocked, but equally I wouldn't be shocked if if Khabib wins again, obviously.
And then I think Poirier, Ferguson. I think Ferguson's going to lose 2 in a row now. I think Poirier's going to put it on him and just do like a Gaethje, but a little bit less beating. Maybe 3-round decision, and then Zabit and Yair Rodriguez. I think it will be flashy on the feet for a bit, and then Zabit will take him down and batter him. I think that's what it will be.
Yeah, I think the Zabit Rodriguez one, I agree with you, but I just think there's also that possibility that Rodriguez just does something, creative, insane, whatever, and he can get the finish. But Zabit is a bit of an animal.
Crazy, I think Zabit will just switch it up, take him down, and then that'll be it. High level wrestler as well, isn't he, at the same time?
Oh yeah. My thing with Ferguson, I said this to Danny on the show, which is out tomorrow actually, that like Ferguson really needs a win, because I think it's his last 2 fights he hasn't really looked like the same Tony Ferguson, and I think if he goes in there and takes a load of damage against Poirier and has a few issues and loses, it's going to be problematic for him.
I think Ferguson's too not scared of taking punches. I think that's his problem. He doesn't really fear punches, so when he gets cracked on them, he gets cracked hard. I think that might be like one of his good traits and also one of his bad traits at the same time, because he does get cracked.
The damage though, isn't it? The damage over time
builds up, especially he's getting older. He's not young anymore, is he? Well, he's not old, but he's not young for a fighter anymore.
No, it's easier, I would imagine, to take the damage when you're a bit younger than it is as you start to get older. You start to feel it a bit more. But be interesting. So if you could fight any fighter in the world from any era, who would you pick?
What? They had to be my weight class, or I could make myself bigger.
You could just fight anyone.
GSP, I reckon. And he's a really nice guy. Not even like to be bad to him, but I just think try figure him out. You know,
Yeah.
it seemed like nobody could back in the day. People started to at the end, and he made the smart call to retire. I'd like to see what Danny and Ray would come up with for that fight. Every single time I get a fighter, Danny, Ray, JB, Lucas, they all come up with different game plan between them. I'd like to get that fight and see what game plan they'd come up with.
Yeah.
All four of them. I mean, normally we're all on the same page when I've got a fighter of how to beat them, but sometimes they tell me little tips, they show me little things, and I think, oh yeah, fucking hell, I didn't notice that. So yeah, I'd like to see what they'd all come up with between them.
Yeah, Danny's got a really good mind for it. I mean, he's like just coming up with looking at things from a technical angle and different angles. Do you think Conor McGregor will fight Khabib before Khabib retires?
I don't even know. I don't even know what's happening with Conor McGregor. He just seems to be disappeared off the planet again, doesn't he?
Enjoying his money.
I don't know. Maybe if there's a lot of more money in it, but it's like people are just not as into him anymore, are they? So he might not. The money might not be there for him to come back out again.
I think.
I think he'll fight again, but if it's Khabib, I don't know.
I just think, like, it doesn't take much for people to become interested in Conor McGregor, and I think one of the reasons he's gone quiet is probably because he was impressive against Cerrone.
Yeah.
And then I think that was the time to capitalise, and put him in another fight straight away because he didn't take any damage.
Yeah.
But then obviously you had Corona and lockdown and all these different things which have done that. And he's one of those fighters, and I think I'd probably put John Jones in that bracket as well. Is I wouldn't necessarily want him fighting in front of no fans.
No, exactly. Because he brings
he's one of them which will sell out an arena, won't it? Just on their own.
Well, the thing with McGregor as well, he's probably the best ever to show up on the night when there's a big amount of pressure, and Cerrone's the opposite. Yeah, he always doesn't show up on the big nights, so I wasn't surprised when he done that to him.
No, and
I think how well one performs and how shit the other one does when it comes big.
That's it, mate. Cerrone has done that for pretty much all his career. Like, he'll go on like a little run of a couple of fights or a bit of a win streak, and then when the kind of big fight comes, whether it's a title fight or like a number one contender fight or whatever, it just doesn't go his way for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It's interesting, nonetheless.
Yeah.
What's your plans for the next sort of 12 months or so? Are you looking to fight a few times?
Yeah. My plan, if all goes to plan, I hopefully want to fight Steve Aimable 26, beat him, maybe fight again before the end of the year if they do a card, and then make a world title run for the start of the year. Maybe if I get a big finish against Steve Aimable, either fight Paul Hughes or Aiden Stephen, whoever wins that fight, get another big win there, and then hopefully fight for the world title next. I'm not cocky with it. I'm just really confident with it. I do believe that I've got the skill set to beat everybody in the division, and I think I'm one of the best all-rounders in the division as well. Not just striking, wrestling, grappling. I think just mixing it all together, I can mix it up better than everybody else in the division, and I just I want to show it now. I want to get out and show it.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's another Cage Warriors event. I think it's November.
Yeah. Quick turnaround. I'm always low at the minute. Like, I'm not blowing up or anything in size. I'm literally staying on it. My strength and conditioning with Adam's been quite continuous. Even when I was just ticking over, it was continuous, keeping my weight low, just working certain things, not burning out. As the fights got closer, we've picked the training up more and more, and I'm going to look to do the same thing again. I'm just going to sort of have a baseline, up it a bit for the fight. It drops a little bit, but then my baseline's always a little bit higher than it was before. And each fight, we just keep doing the same, getting better and better each fight. That's the plan. Fitter and fitter, better and better. And obviously better looking each fight as well. So do
you lose much, do you have to lose much weight? Sort of in the last week or so?
Well, when I take my top off and show people the shape I'm in, they're like, "Fucking hell, you're close to on weight, yeah." And then when I tell them how much I've got left, they sort of go, "Oh, all right, I'm doing good." It's not silly. I know some of these guys cut a crazy amount of weight, but I'm massive for the weight class.
Yeah.
And I don't think people realise how big I am until they see me standing across other people. I mean, in my last fight, it was a catch weight 68, but the commentator said, "Fair play to Common blah, blah, blah." He normally fights at 66. As you can see, Jordan's noticeably bigger than him. I thought when I watched it back, I'm fucking 66 all the time as well.
Yeah.
But I think with that, I'm just a bit of a freak size-wise for the weight division, but I'll take it. So I'm not compromising my fitness or anything with how much I'm cutting. I'm cutting a decent amount, and I feel good, feel fresh as well.
Indeed, mate. And it's a bit of an advantage as well, no, to have that size advantage. If you can have the size advantage, but also keep your speed and your strength and everything without blowing out.
I'm lucky. I've got a good body for a fight. I've got long arms, long legs, and a short torso. So I'm lucky with that. A small target to hit and then long things to hit you with.
So lastly, is there anyone kind of in the Cage Warriors featherweight rankings higher up that you'd like to take on your way to a title shot?
Everyone and anyone.
No, sort of none of the names at the top which you really fancy.
Yeah, there's a few. There's a few of them. To be fair, I think there's loads of good guys in that division. I think that Paul Hughes is getting a lot of hype. Aiden Stevens is ranked really high. The winner out of them two, that would be a good fight as well. Maybe get the winner of them two. That's my plan. I was meant to fight Paul Hughes before on Celtic Gladiator, but that didn't come to fruition. I ended up fighting Rachid Has instead, who was a savage. He was 8-0, 8 finishes, I think. That's who I ended up getting instead. So I actually got a tougher match, I think, and stopped him in the third round with elbows. So maybe that. He's got a lot of hype. Cage Warriors promoting him a bit, so why not make that the fight to go on after?
Yeah, indeed. I was looking then just to see if Paddy Pimblett was still in featherweight division. He's not.
Nah,
he's lightweight now.
Yeah,
because he did fight in featherweight a couple of times, didn't he? I'm sure he did.
Yes, he was a featherweight champion, wasn't he?
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah. I knew I wasn't going insane. Like,
yeah.
I wonder whether they'll add actually a fight for him in the trilogy card, but I know for a fact that he's having trouble finding someone to fight, which is an issue, obviously. But
yeah.
That's what happens, isn't it? I'm sure you'll have the same problem soon enough, mate, with people not wanting to fight you.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Hopefully not. I don't want to jinx it. Hopefully not.
Yeah. Well, best of luck for the fight on the 26th, 27th,
yes.
And obviously people can check out not just the Saturday card, but they can also watch the Friday, the Wednesday card on UFC Fight Pass in the UK. And I think it's probably in the Fight Pass in the US as well. Yes. And Jordan, tell the people where they can find you on social media.
On Instagram, Jordan Vucenic MMA, Facebook, Jordan Vucenic, and Twitter. I think it's Epidemic Vucenic. You'll get me on that. But yeah, Instagram's the main one I use. But I've still got Facebook and Twitter, still both the same. So yeah. I'm on there.
Top man. Best of luck with the fight, mate. Right. And guys, subscribe, youtube.com/A.C.E Podcast Nation, and follow us on social media. All the links in the description below. Cheers, mate.
Perfect, mate. Thank you very much. Have a good day.